Welcome back to the Arbitrage YouTube channel. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful flounce design on asymmetric yoke blouse. So it's a very simple tutorial and it is detailed. If this is what you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this flounce, I'll be placing it on this pattern. Okay, this is a bustier with a yoke. So the yoke is designed in a zigzag, no, not really zigzag, in a stylish form like this. I already have a full tutorial on how I made this on the channel, so if you don't know how to, you may want to check that out. So I'll be placing this flounce. You can actually place the flounce anywhere you want, but I'm placing my flounce following this line that I have, and then from here now I'm going to be extending it. And if you look at this now, I have one sleeve attached to it. This is just a cap sleeve and it's around, should be around 4 to 5 inches in length. Okay, so this is around 4 inches. The length of this sleeve is around 4 inches, and this other sleeve is going to be a long sleeve. So I just left it because the flounce is not going to be passing through this, it's passing through this short sleeve. So this flounce is going to be coming from this design. It will follow this pattern like this, and then when it gets here it will extend to meet the sleeve, and then from here you can see how it's extended. From here it's going to go like this, and then from here it will just extend like this, and then it will go following the opening, the sleeve opening. That's the round sleeve of the sleeve. So the flounce is coming like this, like this. When it gets here it will join with the sleeve, round sleeve, and then it will go around the sleeve like that. So now the first thing we need to do to know the circumference of our flounce is by measuring it. So what you just need to do, it does not have to start from here. It can start from the center front, it can start from anywhere. I just want mine to start from here. So where I want the sleeve to pass through, I'm going to take my tape measure now and then measure around it. But this is a curve, so to measure around a curve may be a bit tricky. So you just stand your tape rule like this, and then you start taking this measurement. So you can see I am taking my measurements, and then when I get here I'll just extend this here, and then from here now I'll measure it round my sleeve. Okay, so after measuring it now I have around 26 inches. So this 26 inches is going to be the circumference for my flare, and then I'm using the flare for this. It's actually a flounce, but you can cut it anyhow you want. You can cut it in the flare method, or you can cut it like we are cutting a circular flounce, like a spiral flounce. I have both tutorials already on the channel, but I'll be using the flare method for this, and this is going to be a full 360-degree flare, which means I'll be putting my fabric. So I'm using a paper so that it will be really obvious, so that we can see it well. I'll be putting the paper on fold by 4 because it's a full 360-degree flare, and the 26 inches that I got for my flounce circumference, I'll be dividing by that 6 by 6.28, which is a constant for drafting a full circle flare. So 26 divided by 6.28 is around 4 inches, and then I want the longest part of my flounce to be around 6 inches also. Okay, this is just a tutorial, so I won't be making it too long. If you want yours to be longer than that, you just need to measure that, take that measurement. So after putting it on fold now by 4, I'm going to measure the radius, which is 4 inches, and then I'm going to take that measurement round like this. Then after measuring my 4 inches, I'm going to connect it. Then after connecting it, I'll take my flare measurement, and I said I don't want it to be longer than 6. That's the longest part, including the seam allowance. So from the radius, I'm going to be measuring 6 inches round, and then after measuring the 6 inches round, I'm going to connect them together and cut it out. So this we have been doing a lot on the channel, and I already have a tutorial on how to draft a full flare. So if you are not clear with anything that I'm doing now, you may want to check those tutorials out. So this is just me connecting them together. Then after connecting it, I'm going to take my scissors, and then I'll cut this pattern out. Okay, so this is the length and this is the radius. So after cutting it out like this, I'll open it, and it's a full circle flare as you can see. So I'm going to slash it open on one side like this. Okay, so I have my cardinal point, which is the one I opened 1. This is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, and this is going to be 4. Okay, so this opening is going to be our first one. So now we are going to be shaping this flare because it's not going to be like this, and then I'm going to start shaping it from here. Remember, the longest part is 6 inches like this, so I'll go to the, let me start from here. So this is the first one, the longest part is 6 inches, so I'm going to go to the second one. Here I'm going to reduce it to 5 inches. Here I reduce it to around 4 inches, and here I'm going to reduce it to around 3 inches or there, about 3.5 inches. So you can see how I'm reducing it. So for it to blend well, at the midpoint of 2 and 3, remember I did 5 here, I did 4 here, so I'm going to be doing 4.5 here at the midpoint. So here I did 4 inches, here I did 3 inches. So here I'm going to be reduced. I'm just trying to, I don't want it to be too sharp, so I'm just trying to form it in a way so that it blends very well. Then I'm going to be connecting this together. So when I connect it together, I'll just show us I'm blending into this. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So you can see that I'm just reducing the length of the flare. Okay, you can see how I'm reducing it. So I have 3.5 inches here. I'm going to be repeating it 3.5 inches also, or I'll just make this 3 inches, and then I'm going to connect it. So for it to be easier, as I said, instead of here you can also go by maybe 3.25, so that it will be easy for you to blend it in. But you can take it all at a time, you just need to blend it like this. Okay, so the flounce has been reshaped now, and you can see that this is the longest part. This still maintains is 6 inches, but this part has been reduced to 3 inches. So this is what we have, and this is the design that I'm going for. So now I'm going to be cutting this off. So this reduction that I'm doing, you can see that I'm doing it on the hemline. You cannot do it on the upper part here, because this is where we're going to be attaching to our, where the flounce is going to. And if I reduce it on the upper part here, it will become broader. It will be too big for where I want to place it. So that is why the reduction has to be done on the hemline. So after reducing like that, I'm going to retrace my flounce, and then I'll reshape it like this. You can see how I'm reshaping it, following the new marks that I have made. Okay, so we have this. This is what our new flounce is looking like. You can see that it is just getting higher from here, and it blends very well. So you can actually leave your flounce like this, with this part being this shape, but I don't want mine to be like this, so I want to further blend it in a bit. So on the hemline here, at the shortest part, I'm not doing anything with the long part. On the hemline here, I can just go inwards by maybe 2 inches or 3 inches or 2.5 inches, and then from there you can use your curve or your free hand to just blend it in and have like a circular effect like this. This is actually optional, but I'm doing this because I like the effect that it's going to give to my flounce by the time I'm through. So now I'm going to cut that off too. And before you reduce this, because you are going to be adding a crinoline to this, you can actually consider the length of your crinoline to know the measurement that you're going to be using for the shortest part. For me, for this tutorial, I'm using a crinoline of 1 inch. You can see how small it is. So I know whatever amount of length that I decide to use for my flounce, this crinoline will still fit perfectly into it. But let's say you're using a crinoline of maybe 2 inches or 3 inches, you have to place that on the shortest part of the flounce, so that you know that you don't want your crinoline to be poking out like this. So it has to fit in perfectly. But the crinoline I'm working with is just 1 inch, and it's going to fit this perfectly. That is why I'm going with this shape. So now we are done creating this flounce now, and it's going to be attached to this place starting from here. So what I was saying, you can see the shape that we have here. Instead of it to just stand straight, you can see the way it's standing like this if we did not shape it out. So now I've shaped it out, and you can see that it just blends very well, and it's going to be following that step like that. So now I'll cut this on my fabric. I'll cut 2 of this, one for lining and one for main fabric, and then I'm going to be sewing it on my crinoline and turn it out. Then I'll bring it back to show us. And this flare is actually double, so I'll be cutting 4 of these, 2 for lining and 2 for main fabric. I've I'll use them to turn each other and then bring it to show us, because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so I'm using this satin fabric for it, and as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut it. I'm here to iron it. You should iron it well. And also I sew in my crinoline. So if you want it to really come out standing well, you may consider adding maybe a gum stay or a collar stay to this, but this is just a tutorial, so I will not be adding anything to it. But the crinoline is still going to help me to make it really stand firm. But if you are using a strong fabric, a fabric that is stronger than this, it will stand on its own without a gum stay or hard stay. But I'm just going to use this, and then we see what our outcome is going to look like. So like I said, I cut 4 of these, and this is my 1-inch crinoline. I just top stitched on it because I'm yet to iron it so that it can lie flat for me. So this is what I have. This is the first one, and like I said, it's a double flare, and then I closed it on this open part. So this is the second one. So I have 2 flares like that. I'm just going to be placing them on top of each other. Then you can go ahead and hold this with a stitch, or you just hold this with a pin. So I'm going to be holding it with a pin, then I'll bring in my pattern. So here, the shortest part, that's the part where we curved in like this. I'm going to place it on each other and then close up this part. So just watch how I'm going to be attaching it. So here now, you're going to be bending it. So you may want to take this part also to your serger and serge it, so that all these frills coming out will not be coming out, to be neatly finished. So here, you push it to the other side like this, and then you start sewing it from here. So you can see I'm not sewing it like this because I don't want these rough edges to be showing. So I'm sewing it like this so that it's going to fold over and my rough edges will be neat. So here now, I'm going to be sewing it following this line. Okay, I'm going to be placing it like this, the 2 together, and then I'll be sewing it following this line. And then when I get to the armhole, just like I explained, I'll bend my hand like this, and then I'm going to sew the rest on the armhole area, round the armhole like that. So I'll take this to the machine now and sew, then bring it back to show us. So this has been sewn round now. You can see how I sew it, and like I said, if you search this place, it's going to be neat. Okay, so you can actually open it out and tag it, or just top stitch on it if you want. I just sew it following that shape, and when I got here, I just moved to the sleeve area, you can see, and then I just sew it on the hem line of the round sleeve. So now I'll take this to the mannequin so that we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so this is our flounce. I can see the beginning of the flounce is a bit curved because of that curvy effect we started with, and it just goes from there all the way to the round sleeve. And this is what it is looking like on the upper part. So like I said, you can decide to make your flounce longer than this, but I'm just okay with this length because this is a tutorial, and the 6 inches I used just came out perfect for me. I can also decide to top stitch on this so that it can open up for you, and you can see it is neat, so no rough edges is not going to be showing. And the sleeve just goes round the arm like that. I can see, so this is the round sleeve, it's just sewn around the round sleeve up to the, so you can also top stitch it here so that it can open up if that is what you want. It's very simple and it's really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you enjoyed this, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.